This drill's for a patient of ours who's been recovering for a clavicle injury. This is part of a continuum in that rehab with an idea of eventually getting back to athletics, martial arts work, etc., etc. We're starting with banded arm circles, with the idea being you can stretch the band apart to create some stability in the shoulder, then work these big circles. Now, there's a couple ways to do this where you can keep it tight to the body or really exaggerate the movement. In this context, I really want to draw out as much range as possible, so I'm making it a point to push my arms away from my body, make these really big actions. The other movement is a banded one-arm press, right? This is nothing new. You guys have seen me do this with kettlebells multiple times. The reason I like the banded option in this context is because it offers almost no resistance in the beginning, where the patient is theoretically strongest, and it really offers its resistance at the weakest points, which will be distal to the body. Now, that being said, if the shoulder isn't ready, if the clavicle isn't ready, we can do the same basic principle, but deload by using a half kneeling variant, essentially cutting the distance in half and the resistance by some margin that is not necessarily half. Now, this is important because in the later portion, we're going to be talking about Turkish get-ups and variations of that. And if this is still difficult, then progressing to get-ups is just not appropriate yet. Now, something you haven't seen me do as much yet is scapular depressions, right? This is part of the L-sit progression in training. And what you do is simply sit up, keep the legs extended, and press on the ground to lift your body off the ground. Now, this is fine in its own right if you're just working on L-sits, but if the goal is to get really used to compressing and decompressing the scapula, the shoulder blades, the clavicle again, then you might want to add some range using a kettlebell, a dumbbell, a box, etc., so that you can get deeper into these movements and really work wherever the deficits are for you. And that's all. Check for part 2.